Hi guys, good morning. I'm going to report about South Africa. So, South Africa is a country in Africa. It's not a region. It's located in the southernmost tip of the continent. And what really surprised me during my research was that it is an upper middle income country. It is part of the BRICS. So BRICS is the association of the 5 major emerging economies, namely Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And it's also part of the G20 countries. G20 countries is an international forum that brings together the world's leading industrialized and emerging economies. And lastly, it is one of the largest economies in Africa. So, looking at the statistics, so the current GDP of South Africa is 314 billion, and their GDP per capita in PPP is 12,393 US dollars. And their population is much lower than ours. It's 54 million. So, now, let's compare it with the Philippines, but I would like you to focus on this one. We are a lower middle income country, and our GDP capita is only 6,938. Why would I like you to focus on this thing? Because when you look at the development indicators, you will see that Philippines, a lower middle income economy, has a much higher rank, than South Africa, an upper middle income economy. So what is my point? When we compare it with the other upper middle income economies, we can see that South Africa is really lagging behind in terms of development. So what causes this lag in the development? I'm going to tackle about inequality, then its effect on education and unemployment. So, did you know that South Africa is one of the most unequal countries in the world? Its income inequality, as measured by the Gini coefficient, is 65%. And this usually ranges of around 60 to 70%. And when HDI is adjusted according to inequality, it drops down to 0.4 to 8. So now, this is a graph showing the share of the distribution of the income to the population. So the dark blue block is the share of the richest 20%. And the red block is the share of the poorest 20%. So as you can see, the richest 20% has more than half of the total population of the economy. So what is happening with South Africa? Here, you can see that on this part, there are really small houses. And then on the left part, there are bigger houses with pools. And then another picture, you see there's an informal settlement right beside the golf course. So you can see that there's a first world lifestyle in South Africa alongside with the poverty-ridden situation. So what is the cause of this inequality? It's apartheid. Apartheid is a system of legislation that started in 1948. It was pushed by an all-white government. So even before having this legal basis for this policy of racial segregation and white supremacy, the British, the colonizers then, already pushed such policies. So what kind of policies did they experience? So one is that the non-white South Africans would be forced to live in separate areas from the whites and use separate public facilities. And also, contact between the two groups is limited. So here's an example of that. Even the beach, the non-whites are not allowed to use the beach. So naturally, you would see an effect on education. So what's the effect on education? I would like you to meet these two kids. So this is Kosi and this is Rajiv. So both attended primary school, but as you will see, South Africa has universal access to education. However, if you look into the quality of education for the poor black South Africans remains substandard. So for Kosi, he attended a historically white school. So since there's an apartheid, they were forced to live in separate areas. So there were schools intended only for whites, schools intended only for blacks. So Kosi attended this, and then Rajiv attended a public school like most black South Africans. And what did she experience in the school? Teachers are underperforming. Usually they have meetings, so there are free cuts, and then even the principal lets this happen. So what will happen with both of them? So naturally, COSI continues to higher education, and while Rajiv was left behind. This is because they don't have any more means to support her for a higher education. Her parents are also illiterate. So Rajiv is not the only kid that experiences this kind of story. Almost all Black South Africans experience this kind of story. So now, in summary, education in South Africa is the legacy of apartheid can be felt with education. And with all of these factors piling up, learners in historically white schools perform better and their scores improve with successive years of schooling. So now, in connection, as you will see, also unemployment is affected. Actually, high unemployment in South Africa is a structural phenomenon rather than simply caused by a lack of labor market flexibility. So what do I mean by this? Look at this graph. This is the graph of the number of unemployed for all race groups. You can see for Black African, it's really high. And then for whites or colored or Indian, it's really low. So there. So as you can see, the apartheid, the legacy of apartheid caused inequality, and it's a social engineering systematically that closed off or distorted all avenues for the majority of the population to accumulate capital in the form of ownership of land and businesses, but also in the form of skilled, educated, and healthy labor. So what are the lessons that we can be learned? So here, we can see that there is an inequality of opportunity, and that hurts the economy. Actually, South Africa recognizes that if they don't solve their high unemployment, especially among the Black Africans, their potential to expand, to grow, is hampered. So, and also, you can see, as in my report, South Africa is an upper middle income economy, but the measure of GDP is not everything. So, as we have learned in 191, growth is not enough. You still need development. And while we say that the market is not always equitable, sometimes it is also the government's decision that is not equitable. And while theoretically, the government should represent the view of the society, we can see in reality and with the case of South Africa that this is not the case. So this is where we come in, mga isko and iska, that we need to help solve government failures. We need to give voice to the voiceless, while we also fight for market failures. That's all. Thank you.